Hey guys, welcome back to my solo fight or Illusionist playthrough, and we're going to be going through the rest of Spellhold and then the Sahuagin city. One of the tricks that you can do is use Cloud Kill and then go invisible, and enemies will actually just stay where they are if they can't detect you through invisibility. It is quite cheesy to actually go ahead and do that, so I'm going to try to avoid that if possible. But Cloud Kill once again helps in groups of enemies like these. I did talk about Death Spell last time, but something I forgot to mention was the fact that it will instantly kill any summoned creatures. So high level mages like wizards and usually dragons as well will have Death Spell memorized, so whenever you cast a summon at them they'll just instantly remove it. So that is one of the reasons why using summons against them is pretty much worthless. So there's also a spell at level 6 called Death Fog, which is an evocation spell, so that means that we can use it. It's similar to Cloud Kill, except it has a set 8 damage per round that it does instead of a range between 1 and 10. But it will also kill any summons the enemies spawn. But it is a fog spell, so they do need to walk into the fog. But it might be a consideration for something else I could use as opposed to Death Spell. Another nice thing about Death Fog is that it does acid damage, and also it's a level 6 spell, so you can use it on liches to interrupt their spell casting, and it will do damage to them, which is nice.
Yeah, I'll see to it.
This next area is going to be relatively straightforward, so I'm mostly not going to commentate over it because it's mostly filled with enemies that are rather weak, like trolls or minotaurs, so I can just use the one with Cloud Kill on. It is worth knowing the fact that I do get hit by the stat drain here from one of these trolls, so that does bring my strength down to 18, so it is really annoying. There's other enemies called Shadow Fiends which can do the same thing, but it can make your effectiveness a lot worse.
Let's do this quick. Yeah. Yeah. Hold still.
I know on Earth, but just couldn't bear to see you.
Yeah.
You were amusing, but the game is over. What is this? Away! Renicus must know of this. We will observe from a distance.
Yeah, give me some direction. Yeah. quick and painful. Time is up for you. still. Yeah. Let's do this. Yeah.
So I haven't really been using the Mord swords up to this point, so I do use them for the next couple of fights. They're pretty much the best summon we have access to by this point, mainly because they're immune to pretty much everything. The only thing they'll probably die to is stuff like Magic Missile that does magic damage specifically, but everything else, including Mind Flare, Intelligence Drain, they are immune to. Since we are missing out on Animate Dead, because it is a Necromancy spell, and it is a really good spell because the summon lasts for 8 hours, and the Skeleton Warriors are really tanky and they also have great magic resist. So we are kind of going without those summons in that regard, so we have access to Mord Swords and Planetars. If you do need additional access to summons earlier in the game, you can use Spider Spawn and preferably with some casts of Web to begin with, and those are very effective as well. But because we are more of a fighter than a mage at this point, so I would say that the fact that we can't use long-term summons not to really be that much of a detriment. It's the same sort of thing with Skull Trap and Horrid Vaulting. They are missed because they do great AoE damage, but at the same time, as a fighter mage, we really can just buff and take out any enemies that we need to with improved haste and stuff like that. So the fact that we can't do AoE instant damage isn't too much of a detriment as it would be to, say, a Mage Thief. I pick up the bowstring for the short bow of guessing, but at this point, if I ever need a ranged weapon, I'm probably just going to use Melf's Minute Meteors instead. And the Mithril tokens you've been picking up, you can exchange them for an item here. I pick up the Boots of Grounding just because I already have the Boots of Speed anyway. You can also get the Jester's Mail, but that's of course not going to be any use to us either. I could have got the other boots, I think it's Boots of the North as well, the cold resistant boots, but for some reason I only picked up one item. I believe you can pick up more than one. The next part of Spellhold is the Trials. It's a very short area though, but this is one area in which Melf's Minute Meteors is actually going to come in handy, because these guys, you need a ranged weapon to hit them. I could have also used Magic Missiles, but I figured I have this Melf's Minute Meteor spell. I may as well use it. It's an incredibly good spell, especially for pure mages, because it does hit as a +6 weapon as well.
This is worth it. Yeah, I'll see to it. done.
Ah, there you are. I see that you've weathered the storms of this place with reasonable pluck and health.
There.
It does me good to see you alive.
I'm no use to anyone tired. If it must be done.
Your chattering's starting to wear on me nerves.
Hold still. Yeah.
Tonight is as I know. I ran it.
I will not rest until his head is mine and mine alone.
What is this? You have released all of my tests, all of you.
It's probably...
One thing about this fight is I probably should have put up Spell Trap before it, so I could regain some of my spells like Stone Skin. But for some reason I actually forget to do that.
Time is up.
Have your friend. Fight amongst the mindless assassins I would sacrifice. I shall find others to serve my needs. This place is yours. I hope it is your too.
Let's do this is worth it.
Gone and off like the shadow flees the moor. You aren't gonna let him fall away so easy, are you? Good to see you. Go about the town and get what supplies you need. We shall meet at the tavern and make our plans.
One of the things I forgot about is after I get teleported outside, you can actually go back into Spellhold. So I do miss out on the few items that are in one of the side rooms, which is like the Staff of Thunder and Lightning, for example. But I think that's pretty much all that's there, so I didn't really miss out on anything that I wouldn't just sell anyway.
I hope this is worth
I'm
it.
glad to see I have no ship with which to offer passage. It has been scuttled in an act of the purest malice. Such villainy I am subjected to.
Yeah, I'll see to it.
The next stop we're going to be making is the Sahuagin city, pretty much just for one item, and that item is the Cloak of Mirroring. So this is an optional area, but it is such a good item that it is worth just going to. It's fairly short as well, so it's not a big headache to get through it or anything.
Something you wish to say? I don't usually speak
If
to
it
the
must
likes
be
of
done.
you.
Go and be.
Hello.
Go and be.
Scream! Scream for mercy!
All right. Go and be.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's probably best left to me.
There you are, very good indeed. I've convinced the men on side. And if I have wronged you in some fashion, I am dreadfully sorry. Who's not? You have brought me to the brink of madness, Simon Havarian. Now I will repay you.
Let's do this. Scream! Scream for mercy! Let's do this. Quick and painful.
Simon, your heart. enough right here, Sherrick. Cast off. We set sail
The seas are
immediately.
calm.
All right, men. Prepare yourselves to be boarded. All weapons ready. Pardon? I am sorry, but I do not know what you are talking about. Speak clearly, that I might understand. Seas are sure rough.
The ship lurches.
We are.
And these. These are the strange creatures from the surface. These are the ones you claim the mighty Secular has promised us? You are wondrously strange. Now that little dispute is over with, perhaps we can get down to real business, eh?
I hope this is worth it. I hope this is worth it.
We're going to go and pick up the Cloak of Mirroring, which is a really great item that is going to make us immune to stuff like Horrid Wilting without even having it cast protection from magical energy. So I don't really need that spell memorized after this point, although I have already taken it out of my spell book, but this is going to be incredibly useful for us. It's probably one of the best items in the game in general. It also protects you against stuff like cause critical wounds that Beholders cast. And you'll see me just abusing the use of the Wand of Cloud Kill by this point.
Time is up for you, my friend.
Let's do this quick and painless. Hold still. Scream. Let's do this quick and hold still. Let's do this quick and hold still. Hold still.
The imp puzzle over here, I have noticed before that there is a maze trap on one of the chests, I think. So I do end up casting Spell Immunity Conjuration, just in case it hits me with that again, but it doesn't seem to actually do it this time, so I don't know if I'm just not remembering this correctly, but you can get mazed somewhere here, and the only prevention for that is, for me at least, Spell Immunity Conjuration. You can take a more diplomatic approach with this beholder, but since my wisdom is low, I don't believe I can actually do that, so I end up having to kill him. You do need this item to get to the end of the Sahuagin city.
Yeah? Yeah, I'll see to it. Yeah.
I do try and kill the enemies in the water, but you do need a ranged weapon to hit them here as well. Since they're not required, I just skip them anyway. So the rest of this episode is going to be me killing the prince at the end here. I do use critical strike on him to take him out as quickly as possible, but he's not that difficult either way. And then we hand in his heart, and then we're pretty much done with this, and we're heading to the Underdark, which is going to be a lot lengthier than these last two areas.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the Underdark.
You are wondrously strange. Well then, here you go, my fortunate favored.
Things go well on the surface. The temple of their false god has been defiled.
It's done.